Now, just so we've got an idea here, I'm going to fold this up here. So we've still got our list of people, all right? So that is our list, all right? So I've got a list of friends, I've got a list of ages, all right? Now what I might want to do is have a program that goes through every item, all right? Bear in mind we're just doing a single array at this point, so that it prints that person's name, all right, and their age for me, all right? Similar to the program that I did down here, but I want to do that for everybody. This is why you would use a for loop, okay? So let me just put this up here, all right? And we know that they're in different types. So one thing that I would do, I've got my list here, but what I can do is I can go for, all right, I in range, and I can put the length of friends, all right? And I'm going to close that. Now what that does is I represents the index, okay? So the first iteration, all right, friends would be working on 0. Age would be on 0, because you can use that index in both lists if they're the same, all right? I'll show you how to do 2D arrays in the next video, but we're going to use this loop to go through each list individually. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say, all right, we're going to say print, all right, your friend plus friends I. Alright? I'm doing this on 2 separate lines because I've run out of space, okay? But your friends I, print is plus str ages I plus years old. Now what that is going to do for me is it would say your friend Ray is ages I 37 years old. So it would say your friend Ray is 37 years old. Your friend Chummer is 32 years old. Your friend Eve is 39 years old. Because what it is doing is I am using I as the position in the array. So that is how a single array works, a single list. So what it's doing here is using I, so I would be 0. Then, once it's finished, that loop, alright, I becomes 1. Then it finishes that one. I becomes 2. Then it finishes writing those again. I becomes 3, because the length of the list is how many iterations it is, okay? So the length of the list would be how many iterations we do. 0 was the first iteration, 1 is the next, 2 is the next, 3 is the next. Is that making sense? Yeah? So I've used I as the index to do a single array, and I've gone through that. Alright? You might want to do this as a while loop. Okay? So, again, what we've got, I'm going to cover up this code. Alright, so it doesn't confuse you. You might use a counter. Alright? So I'm going to set count at 0. Alright? This is slightly different. Alright? When you're using a while loop and the len, you need to minus 1 from it. I'll explain that in a minute. Alright? So, what we're going to do is work out the len of friends. We're going to base it on that, okay? So, total equals len of friends. Now, just so that you are aware, what that means is that the total of this would now be, all right, if it was to output, if we were to output that value, the total at the moment would be 4. I can't use that as an index, all right, because what's going to happen is we're going to end up going 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So what you've got to do is do len of friends minus 1, which now means that the value of that is equal to 3. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is all right, we're going to say our start equals 0. All right, so we've got our start number and where we're going to. All right, I'm going to say while start, okay, is less than or equal to the total, okay, it's going to do this. What I can do is I can say, all right, print, just so I can demonstrate how this works, friends, and I can use the value of start. I probably should have called this count, all right, but you get the idea. So the value of start is 0 when we start. Does that make sense? So we've got a 0 that we're starting with. All right. Now, print friends start. What's the value of start? 0. So what would I be doing there? Because I've put friends and I've got a square bracket. Start is a number. It would print Ray. But then it's less than 3, isn't it? So it's going to keep doing it. So what I need to do with a while loop, I would need to do, all right, start equals start plus 1. Because each time it's going to compare that to the total. All right, so the next time around, the value of start is going to be 1. So what's it going to print out? Shuma. And then it's going to go again. Eve. But the next time around, it's going to be Bob. All right. But what's going to happen? It's going to be number 4. When that gets to number 4, all right. So after Bob, that then start will become 4. Which means it jumps out of that loop and doesn't happen anymore. All right. So what I'm saying is, with while loops, you need to allocate numbers to your conditions. All right. So that is a single array, and you can use the word count. Some people use count there. So if I wanted to, I could change that to count, and I could change that to count, while count is less than or equal to 3. All right, and I can change that to count, change that to count. It's just variables at the end of the day. All right, so that's how I iterate through that.